I came home about a month ago and caught my son, Tween, yelling at his mum about his clothes. He asked her how hard it was to ensure his clothes were cleaned. So I took him to the laundry room and made him do laundry for the family. I taught him what clothes could go together and what should not. My wife is a teacher and works her butt off to ensure we have a nice home to live in. She tells me what she needs me to do and I take care of it. Beyond my share of the housework, I mean. Well, my kid needs to be punished and I thought of the best possible way to do it. I'm sending my wife to Mexico with her school friends over spring break. I will work from home that week and watch the kids. It won't be difficult because I'm putting the older one in charge of the younger brother, younger Tween. He will do laundry, make breakfast and lunch for both of them, and keep the kitchen and dining room clean. He said it's unfair to make him work over spring break. I asked him if he thought it was a full-time job to do all that I was expecting of him. He said yes, it was a full-time job. I pointed out that his mother and I both have full-time jobs and still managed to do everything that he's whining about. He called my mom to see if he could stay there for spring break. She tried to tell me I was being cruel to her poor baby. I asked her what exactly she and my father would have done to me if I'd yelled at her for not doing my laundry. She said that it was a different time. I said he could stay with her if she was willing to tell him, in front of me, all the punishment I endured when I lived at home. She said he couldn't stay there. Am I the idiot for making my son care for himself and his brother for a week? Loving that last paragraph and sentence. That's telling as far as your mom goes. I bet some people are going to scream, parentification, but 1 week as a punishment for how he's acting seems more than fair. You are not the idiot. I think it's a good plan. Just make sure going forward that both kids have regular chores. Everything sounds fair here and your mom needs to stop being a hypocrite. Agree, great job handling grandma. In addition to having him learn about the household tasks your wife typically handles. It would help if you also found out where he learned this behavior. Is he listening to idiots on the internet? How could he possibly think yelling at his mother about his laundry was something he could or should do? You have a deeper issue that you need to work on with your son. I also think if your older son has been exposed to misogynistic attitudes, you should make sure your younger son doesn't pick up on it too. They both need to learn that women are partners, not maids, and that they need to pull their weight. 100% this. Where is the attitude coming from? Obviously not you or grandma. Have some conversations with your kid and try to find the root of this because it's something he's picking up from someone or somewhere. The fact that this kid is almost a teen and OP only just now showed him how to do laundry is a bit telling. If his kid was never taught how to do chores, it could be that OP and his wife coddled their children for too long. Revisiting their parenting plan might also be a good idea, so their kids can start learning household responsibilities. I think it's clear both boys have been babied if neither of them has ever made their own breakfast or lunch before. And you are the idiot for a reason I haven't seen addressed yet. What the heck has the younger son done to deserve this? When kids that age are put in charge of other kids, they get power mad. If they're angry, it's even worse. Your oldest can't take this out on your wife, she'll be away, or you. And guess who's left and you've put him in charge of? At this age, you can give them each a list of chores and have them each be responsible to you. It's not like your youngest is a toddler who will run out into the street if left unsupervised. My friend Samantha is a stay-at-home mom and has a preschool daughter, Katie. Since her daughter's birth, she always insisted that I go to her place if I ever wanted to hang out. So even though she lives about 45 minutes away from me, I always did it initially because I valued our friendship. And Katie was her first, so I could understand how she'd be stressed with a newborn. Recently, I started to put my foot down and wanted her to meet me halfway. I felt like her kid, she only has Katie, was old enough to handle being outside, and I was tired of driving just to hang out at her house. We always picked a place halfway, so it was doable. During the last 3 hangouts, she was over 30 minutes late, and each time she claimed that she got mom privileges for being late because she had to wrangle her kid into the car and do other mom things. I wouldn't understand, according to her. I'm childless. She asked to hang out this past weekend and I told her that if she was late again, I'd leave. The day came and she was late. After 30 minutes, I got up and left, but I went to hang out in the coffee shop across the street because I was curious about just how late she'd be. She was over an hour late, and when she found out from the waitress that I'd left, she started to call and text me. She said I was insensitive and selfish for making her drive 25 minutes away from home with a toddler, only to leave, and that she only ever came out for my benefit. I told her that I hang out with multiple friends who bring their kids out with us, and they're never late. So it was pretty crappy to blame being late on Katie, who is a perfectly sweet girl. She's never been a problem during our outings. Samantha just kept pulling the "you're not a mom so you wouldn't get it" card. I heard later from a mutual friend that Samantha has been blasting me in their mommy group and said I was bullying her for putting her child first. I feel like her reaction wouldn't be so strong unless she was actually upset. So I'm starting to feel like an idiot. I mean, she's right that I don't get it as I don't have children, but I still feel annoyed that she's late and feel justified for leaving. My time is precious too. I'm not sure whether or not I should reach out. Not the idiot. Being occasionally late is understandable. I've literally had kids throwing up moments before we're supposed to get in the car, or picking up a coffee mug and pouring it on the rug and stuff like that. Some things you just can't avoid. Being consistently late just means she isn't planning well. It does not take 30 minutes to get a child into the car, so I'm guessing she isn't watching the clock and is blaming her lateness on her kid, which will be really bad once the kid picks up on it and starts thinking there's something wrong with herself because mommy keeps blaming her when talking to other people. Agreed, even with an unforeseen catastrophe just before you leave, it's still courteous to drop your friend a message saying you had an unexpected thing happen. You're going to be late by approximately 8 minutes. It doesn't sound like OP's friend is even doing that. I'm a mother of 4. Guess what you can't use mom privileges for? School, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, parties, flights. Guess what else you can't use mom privileges for? Being chronically late. I think you may need to put this friendship on hiatus for a while. It's possible that in a few years she'll be able to act like a friend again, but right now she can't. My sister has been married to her husband Nigel for 21 years, and they've been together for about 23 years. Nigel was a widower of 3 years when he met my sister. His kids were younger, male and female at the time of their meeting. Nigel's late wife's family was around a lot. My sister hated it. From the very early days, it was clear she was toxically jealous of Nigel's late wife and the kids' mom. She talked about how strange it was the kids, who don't remember her, had her photo in their bedrooms, and how her stepdaughter had a locket with a photo of her mom, dad, and brother in it. I remember back then asking how it was strange. Her mom was loved, and Nigel and his late wife's family likely didn't want the kids not to know their mom loved them. She said that was her job now. I told her it wasn't healthy to feel jealous and put out over a mom being remembered. Think of how she would feel if our mom died. Honestly, I had a lot of respect for Nigel for the first 2 or 3 years because his kids seemed to be his priority, and he still seemed to love and care about his late wife and not want to erase her, but was also ready to be married to someone else. I had seen a lot far more awful scenarios. But then he started letting my sister push herself onto the kids and trying to force out their maternal relatives. It was obvious my sister blamed the maternal relatives for neither of his stepkids coming to think of her as their mom. She didn't want to hear any other reason it could be. Now both of her stepkids are adults, and her stepson became a father for the first time in January. His daughter is named after both her grandmothers, and his mom's name is her first name. My sister was so unhappy about that. She told him it was disrespectful to her and all that crap. He told her to screw herself and told her she still hadn't figured out that she wasn't his mom, she wasn't his parent, she wasn't even his real family, because he would happily dump her out of his life for good and would never feel bad about that. My sister complained for weeks about it, and then I told her if I was her stepkid I'd do the same, and that she had no respect for his mom or his maternal family. She freaked out and told me that that was a crappy thing to say and I should be on her side because she's my sister. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Even if she was their birth mother, she would have no right to expect them to name their child after her. What an exaggerated sense of entitlement. Someone needed to give her a reality check, especially as her stepson told her it would never have happened and she still didn't get it. All she's done is ensure that she won't be considered either a parental or a grandparental figure to any of this family, and has probably ruined the moment for her husband. What a peach! Why are people so stupid regarding others, mostly children's, feelings for their dead parents? You can't replace that. You can try to love them and hope you get to a similar level, but that's it. She's dead. She can't win. Your sister has issues. I'm sorry he stayed married to your sister through all that and didn't kick her to the curb. And I'm surprised your sister didn't alienate Nigel's kids so much that they went no contact with both of them. Honestly, I'm shocked too. Your sister desperately needs therapy. But she would have to be willing to admit she was fundamentally in the wrong, which she won't do. I wish Nigel would divorce your sister because he seems like a very good man. My sister, 24, and I, 28 female, have always been close, but things have been tense since I got engaged. We've had arguments over everything from the colour of the bridesmaid dresses to the types of flowers we're using. But our most significant disagreement is about her boyfriend, 37. They've only been dating for a few months and I don't feel comfortable having him at my wedding. It's a small affair and we only invited people we're close with and who have been a part of our lives for a long time. We didn't want to invite any strangers or people we barely knew. When I told my sister she couldn't bring a boyfriend, she was absolutely livid. She accused me of being selfish and not caring about her happiness. She even threatened not to attend the wedding if he couldn't come. I calmly explained my concerns, but I told her I wouldn't compromise on this. It's my wedding day and I want to be surrounded by people I love and who have been there for me throughout my life. If I give in and let her bring her boyfriend, it will set a bad precedent for our relationship. But now I'm worried that I've ruined our relationship anyway. My sister hasn't spoken to me in days, and I'm afraid she might not even attend the wedding. Am I the idiot for standing my ground and potentially sacrificing my relationship with my sister on my wedding day? You are the idiot. I wasn't even aware that you can invite someone to a wedding without inviting their SO. Don't be selfish. Let your sister be happy too. She doesn't want people to see her without a +1 and make assumptions that she can't get a man. Unless you think he's going to start a fist fight, propose to her during the first dance or sing karaoke during the speeches, let the man come. This will come between you and your sister forever if you don't. This isn't worth losing a sister over. He's a boyfriend of a few months, not a few years. Not everyone wants or can afford a wedding where everyone and their hamster gets a +1. Not the idiot. You don't need to have your sister's 2-month sugar daddy at your wedding if you don't want to. Note: all relationships with one person sub 25 and another over 35 are sugar situations until proven otherwise, in my opinion. LOL. Cute that you think young women are getting loads of money out of these age gap relationships. Most of the time there's zero sugar, just a lot of taking advantage of vulnerability and naivety on one side and being naive and feeling special on the other side. Big age gaps where one person is under 25 are a huge flag. She's an adult, it's her life, yada yada, but we all know that's rarely an indication of an equal, happy, healthy relationship. That, combined with OP's vague distrust of this guy, is all I need to know for not wanting him to be a part of OP's big day. OP, you have a valid concern. However, I do want to know why she has had any real say in your wedding so far. You said, "We've had arguments over everything from the colour of the bridesmaid dresses to the type of flowers we're using." If she's complaining about flowers, dresses, and now the boyfriend, just uninvite her, since she's causing your happy day to be so drama-filled. My parents are divorced. My dad is married to Heather. Heather has a nephew Kai who is a pre-tween. Kai's parents are going through a divorce right now, and his mom is already seriously dating this guy who moved in with them. Kai hates the whole thing. I'm not close to Heather or her family, but I was dragged along for a family party at her parents' house Saturday. I'm nearly an adult and still split time between my parents and was given no choice by my dad. Kai was upset and was talking about how messed up it was. I told him I got it. He said everyone in his family was telling him that he should be happy because he wouldn't have to listen to his parents fight anymore, and he should be happy they're divorcing. Kai said he wasn't. I told him neither was I, and that I didn't know anyone with divorced parents who wanted them to be divorced or were happy about it. I told him most of my friends had divorced parents and all of them wished it hadn't happened. Heather and her sister overheard what I said to Kai, and I got into so much trouble for saying it. They said it was unfair to make him think being unhappy with the divorce is okay, and I shouldn't be saying that when I grew my family because of the divorce. I do find this funny because Heather and her kids, her little demons as I call them in my head, were no great family addition. Most of the time I have to make sure none of my stuff has been broken or stolen, and I never ever buy snacks for myself with my money because that stuff will be gone. I also get to hear about them getting suspended from school every time I'm at my dad's. So I got a lecture, was told I was wrong and acted like a spoiled kid. I decided to just go to my mom's and not listen. Dad told me I should never have told Kai what I did. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Divorce is hard on any kid and you understand that better than most. I'm sure he was happy to talk to someone who didn't tell him that he needed to pretend to be happy about the divorce. Most of these adults in this situation, except for your mom, are deluding themselves because they don't want to admit that their decision to divorce affects the kids. While I appreciate the OP being a much-needed sympathetic voice for this kid, telling him that no one is ever happy about their parents' divorce is both untrue and may not really be helpful. There's a difference between telling the kid his feelings are totally normal and okay, and painting divorce as a universal negative and selfish act by the parents. Well, the most alarming part is that nearly adult OP is the most emotionally healthy in this group of adults, and he's being told not to acknowledge feelings with a younger child. OP, you were trying to empathize with a kid going through a tough time. Heather was wrong to take that so personally. Even with positively blended families, there is often a lengthy adjustment period. Very few kids are happy with their parents getting divorced, even if, later in life, they can look back at it differently.